Shows Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks sitting on a living room couch. There's a knock on the door. Hartman. Must be another young trick-or-treater. Hartman and Hooks get up from the couch, grab a bowl of candy by the door, and open the door. Shows John Belushi dressed as Frankenstein, who says, "Trick or treat!" Hooks takes candy from the bowl and puts it in Belushi's bag. Hartman. Sir, aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating? Belushi. I don't think so. I'm only 45. Can I come in? Hartman and Hooks look at each other. Hartman looks back at Belushi and says, "Why do you need to come in?" Belushi walks past Hartman and Hooks, enters the house and says, "I need a little break from all the trick-or-treating. Nice place you got here." Belushi sits down at the living room couch and puts his feet up on the coffee table. Hartman rolls his eyes and says, "Please, make yourself at home." Belushi, "Thank you." Hooks, "Can we get you anything?" Belushi raises his bag and says, "No, that's okay. I got my candy here. You know what? On second thought, a beer would be nice." Hartman and Hooks look at each other confused. Hartman, "Honey, why don't you grab our guest a beer?" Hooks nods and exits the living room. Hartman takes a seat next to Belushi on the couch and asks, "So, sir, if you don't mind me asking, what's your name?" Belushi places out his hand and says, "The name's Frank. How about you?" Hartman shakes Belushi's hand and says, "My name's Mike. So, Frank, how often do you come inside people's houses while you're trick-or-treating?" As Hooks comes back in and gives Belushi a can of beer, Belushi says, "Thank you, Dow. To answer your question, Mike, I don't usually come inside houses while I'm trick-or-treating. Most people are smart enough to not let in a stranger." Hartman, "Well, you barged right in here, Frank." Belushi, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not imposing, am I?" Hartman, "Well, actually..." Hooks, "No, Frank, we're happy to entertain you, aren't we, Mike?" Hartman rolls his eyes and says, "Sure." Belushi, "Great, you two seem like such a lovely couple. Do you have any kids?" Hooks takes a seat in a chair next to the couch and says, No kids for us." Belushi, "That's a shame. Is it by choice or is Mike here shooting blanks?" Hartman, "That's a very personal question to ask, Frank." Belushi, "So you're shooting blanks then, huh?" Hartman, "Well, actually, if you must know, Mary and I are very busy in our careers, and we don't think it's the right time to have a baby." Belushi, "Right time? Aren't you two in your 40s? Hartman and Hooks look at each other. Hooks, "My, it's getting late. Do you have any family you need to be getting back to, Frank?" Belushi, "Me? No, I'm single, no wife, no kids. My parents are dead. I have a brother out in Ohio, but he's kind of a weirdo." Hartman, "He's a weirdo, huh?" Belushi, "What's that supposed to mean?" Hartman, "Never mind. Anyway, we think it may be time for you to leave." Belushi, "What are you talking about? I just got here. I haven't even finished my beer yet." Belushi chugs the beer, crushes the empty can on his Frankenstein forehead, tosses it behind him and says, "Hey, do you think I can have another beer before I go?" Hartman looks at Hooks and says, "Honey, maybe we can get our guest one more beer before he leaves." Hooks exits the living room. Belushi, "You ever considered a sperm donor?" Hartman, "Excuse me?" Belushi, "You know, for your shooting blank situation. I always wanted to be a father, but not have to take care of the kid." Hartman, "I told you already I don't shoot blanks. We're just busy with our careers." Hooks re-enters the living room and hands Belushi a can of beer. Belushi, "Thanks, Dow." Hooks, "It's Mary, actually?" There's a knock on the door. Hartman, "Must be some more trick-or-treaters." Belushi gets up while holding the beer and says, "I'll handle it for you." Hooks, "Oh, thanks, Frank." Belushi walks over and opens the door. Shows two little kids who say, "Trick-or-treat!" Belushi pours his beer all over their heads and says, "Trick, you little bitches." The kids run away crying. Hartman, "What the hell was that?" Belushi, "They said trick-or-treat, so I played a trick on them. And now I'm going to need another beer." Hooks, "I don't think so, Frank. I think you've had enough." Belushi, "Well, in that case, I'll just say, Dead from the earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Night Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jen Hooks, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Denitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest, Randy Meisner, and your host, Matthew Perry. Everybody, Matthew Perry. Applause, applause, applause. Shows Perry on stage who says, "Thank you, thank you." I was a performer who gained massive recognition in the 1990s for playing Chandler Bing on the show Friends. And I want to thank Kevin Bright, Marta Kaufman, David Crane, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, David Schwimmer, and Matt LeBlanc for being there during the best years of my life and for that incredible show that we were all a part of. Applause, applause, applause. Perry. I had a lot of ups and downs in my life. Still working through it personally, but the best thing about me is that if an alcoholic or drug addict comes up to me and says, "Will you help me?" I will always say, "Yes, I know how to do that. I will do that for you, even if I can't always do it for myself." So I do that whenever I can, in groups or one-on-one. And I created the Perry House in Malibu, a sober living facility for men. I also wrote my play, The End of Longing, which is a personal message to the world, an exaggerated form of me as a drunk. I had something important to say to people like me and to people who love people like me. When I die, as I have now, I know people will talk about friends, friends, friends. And I'm glad for that. Happy I've done some solid work as an actor, as well as given people multiple chances to make fun of my struggles on the World Wide Web. But when I die, as I have now, as far as my so-called accomplishments go, it would be nice if friends were listed far behind the things I did to try to help other people. I know it won't happen, but it would be nice. Applause, applause, applause. Perry. And as this show is SNL based, I suppose I should mention that I hosted SNL during its 23rd season. And in my monologue, I went around New York City and asked random people if they would dance with me in a fountain. Chris Farley comes out. Perry. "Oh my God, it's my Almost Heroes co-star, Chris Farley, everybody." Applause, applause, applause. Farley. "I'm sorry I died while we were still shooting our movie." Perry. "That's okay, Chris. Unfortunately now I share with you the distinction of dying young." A Central Park fountain emerges behind the two men. Farley jumps into the fountain and gets soaking wet. Perry. "Hey, Chris, what exactly are you doing right now?" Farley. "At a time like this, as the world mourns your death, I thought I'd sing you a song." "So no one told you your life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke, your love life's DOA. It's like you're always stuck in second gear when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me too. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na." Perry. "Chris, could that have been any more corny?" Anyway, we have a great show tonight. Randy Meisner of the Eagles is here, so join us as we take it easy. We'll be right back.